The college baseball season begins in February, and it's time to preview Bobcat Baseball 2015, presented by Donwood Toyota. See them on the web at donwoodtoyota.com. Time now to visit with the third-year head coach of Bobcat Baseball, Rob Smith. 25 wins in the first 2 years. What are your realistic expectations for 2015?
Well, obviously, we'd look to have some marked improvement from the first 2 years. I think there's been some positive changes that we've made this year in terms of our roster, and now we've just got a lot of recruited players in. We're looking forward to the season for sure.
Yeah, the average was around 257 last year. You had the opportunity to score some runs, and you did in a couple of series. Let's talk about the offensive potential of your ball club.
I think that's going to be the strength of our team this year. We've gotten some guys back from injury. Most notably, Cody Gardner will be back in the lineup. He was missed last year. Garrett Black missed parts of last year. John Adrian missed parts of last year. And Mitch Longo we lost for half the season. So all those guys are going to be back now at full strength. We've added in a quality two-hole, and Manny DeJesus is going to provide another guy at the top of the lineup. So we're excited about our offensive potential with the guys that are coming back, and certainly the return from injury and some of the new pieces we've added as well.
Yeah, DeJesus, a junior college transfer, and of course you mentioned Mitch Longo, the excitement that he brings to the table, and you saw it in the 34 games that he played in last year. And unfortunately, the season ended with an injury at Toledo. But he has a lot of the potential to be an all-MAC type player.
He certainly is, he certainly has the capabilities of doing that. He's going to hit in the three-hole for us, at least starting out, and he's an explosive player. He's got tremendous speed, he's got power, he can hit for average, so he brings a lot of things offensively to the table, and I think it's going to help him this year too. He's going to have Jake Matson hitting behind him, and when you got a quality hitter like Jake hitting behind you, it's going to give Mitch a lot of pitches to see and a lot of opportunities, I think, to swing the bat.
The team ERA was around 6.71 last year or thereabouts, which is a little bit high. And, of course, you talk about injuries, too, and that played a part in it as well. Jake Rowan was your Friday night starter last year as a freshman. Certainly had some bright spots, took his lumps, too. But your thoughts on where you're at from a staff standpoint?
Well, it's interesting. Obviously we had a lot of young arms last year, and they got a lot of experience, so that's always the positive to having a young pitching staff. Coming back, we've seen some guys grow. Connor Sitz has made some marked improvement. We're looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do here in the early going. And then, Jake Rudnicki obviously coming back, had some quality starts as well. And then we've added a new face, Evan Geist, a left-handed pitcher who's a transfer from Florida State. And, at least in the first weekend, we're projecting him to be our Sunday starter. So there's going to be some interesting pieces. We're looking forward to see the progress some of these guys has made. And as far as Jake Rowan's concerned, he's a little bit slow to get started right now. We may not see him the first weekend as he's trying to get prepared and ready to go. He's a little bit behind, so we'll have to wait and see on when he gets back in the mix.
One of the things that we've talked about a lot is execution and making the right play and giving yourself a chance to win ball games and not putting yourself behind the eight ball. And I think that in the first 2 years here, it's happened a little bit, but we've seen the signs of getting a baseball mind right and baseball IQ being a little higher as you've moved along. And that's what you're hoping for, right? To give yourself a chance to win these ball games.
Yeah, you saw last year, we would put ourselves in positions to win some games, and then just some things would break down, especially on the bullpen side of things, which I think we've answered some questions there. We moved a few guys around. We moved Jake Miller to the back end of our bullpen. He showed some promise really in that role last year at the end, and we've added a new reliever in Tom Coletti, who's a junior college transfer. We think he's definitely going to help us out, as well as some marked improvement from guys like Logan Cozart, Corey Wells, Spencer Sapp, Jeremy Kronk. So I like what we're doing that way a lot better, which is going to help us, I think, in those last 3 innings of the game where we would see a lot of issues, especially in the 7th inning. Many times we would be right there, and in the 7th inning or 8th inning, things would fall apart on us. So I like where we're going with our bullpen. I think it's going to be a much more stable situation. Our defense is much improved in a lot of areas, and I think we've been able to tighten up some of those things that cost us last year.
One of the cool things during the football season was the return of Mike Schmidt. Most certainly the greatest baseball player that Ohio has ever produced, a Hall of Famer. And the cool thing about that, too, was he got to visit with you on the flight. He said that it was 2 hours of talking all the way, talking about baseball, and he got to visit with the team as well. From a team standpoint and these players, what was it like for them to visit with him, and what did they gain from that moving forward to this year?
I think they really enjoyed it. The impressive part was that a lot of them, they knew who Mike was and they understood who he was. He obviously played in a much different generation than the kids that are playing for us now, but he transcends that obviously with how good of a player he was and certainly what he means to Ohio University and our baseball program. And it's one thing when they see guys on the wall, they see the pictures, the murals. It's a whole nother when they actually get to meet the guy face to face. And I know it was a real treat for me, on that flight for 2 hours to talk baseball with a legend, and our players really enjoyed it. And I think just having him around our team was certainly a positive thing for us this fall, and to see that somebody who arguably is one of the 10 greatest players ever to play the game, his future originated here at Ohio University, much like these kids, and it certainly gives them a lot of room to dream that way, and certainly as we're building our program, those types of things are positives for us.
Yeah, bottom line, you put in the work, there's excitement around the program, there's forward momentum too. I think we're all very excited about what 2015 can bring, and perhaps you can most certainly make that forward movement that you've wanted in your third year here in Athens.
I think so. We've talked about it from the beginning of the fall. There's a very much a positive vibe with our club. We've kind of gone under the mantra of something good's about to happen for us, and we've really been pushing that statement and just trying to stay positive with some things. When you go through a couple of years of growing pains and transition and building your roster and adjustments, it can be challenging, but our players have handled it well. We're really excited about kind of where their minds are. We had a tremendous fall segment, and we've had a really, really good start here to our preseason practice, and our guys are really excited to get down to Asheville and get this thing started.
Thanks for the visit. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Russ.
That's Rob Smith. I'm Russ Eisenstein. Thanks to Ryan Cochran for his good work. This is coverage of Bobcat Baseball 2015 and our season preview presented by Donwood Toyota of Athens, and this is Bobcat TV.